Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hardest hitting podcast in the game is back. The Poker Live podcast. We're here. We're live after a few months off and a podcast the other day. We're back after it, man. I'm committing to one podcast a week until the World Series of Poker starts, and then the World Series of Poker starts, and then I usually lose my mind during the World Series of Poker. So I can't promise anything during the World Series of Poker, but until then, we're getting at least one podcast a week. We're back on the content grind. Join your one, aka Chicago Joey. We're here. We're live. We're on YouTube right now. Today, guys, before we get into it, do want to say a big shout out to the GPI, the Global Poker Index. They released some semifinalists for the awards this year, and Big Papi nominated for 5. He's got 5 in there. Journalist of the Year, Twitter personality, podcast, and 2 for media content. 1 for the JRB 5-3 Titanic hand, where it goes, you know, the ship went down where he put it all in 5-3 suited. And I'm just curious to see what Phil, I'm interested to see what Phil's doing over there. He's like, looks like he's building he's last minute preparation for the heads up challenge we're going to be talking about today. But also for the Mike Postle investigation, you can click in the link in the description below to vote in for a People's Choice Award. They said the People's Choice Awards presented to the poker personality judged to have one of the best, been one of the game's best ambassadors, making a positive impact in the poker world while engaging his or her audience on any platform. Boom. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to vote
Sounds
me in,
like you.
vote Phil in.
Yeah.
Vote Doug Polkin, who got shafted and then proceeded to write down 35 tweets about him not giving them. I mean, come on, it's kind of fucked up. But whatever, it is what it is. Joining me today on the podcast is a young guy who's lost his mind. All right? This guy's lost his mind. I'm going to tell you this right now. All right? This is a man who, he was riding off in the sunset, right? He had his time at the top of the game. One of the best players for not 1 year, not 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, not 5, not 6, not 7, maybe like 12 fucking years, right? The guy's at the top of the game. I mean, come on. He did it for 12 years. I'm not even sure. The guy's at the top of the game. He meets his wife through Twitter. And, because it's at the top of the game. He's rolling hard. He has a family, he has a child. He starts the website. He goes into business. Rides off in the sunset. The man, he had his time. But then he decided that he's coming back. And he's risking a couple $1 million on side bets, in addition to the potentially millions of dollars that might change hand at the poker tables himself, where he'll be playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 different heads-up matches as of right now at stakes 100, 200 euro and above, with multiple side bets against people like that we know, like my man Jungle Man, my man Bill Perkins, my man Chance Corneth, and Vini Vidi, Action Freak, 2 excellent online PLO players, and Brandon Adams, who is a master of gambling. That dude does a lot of different things out there.
Yeah, well said.
He does a lot. So the man has come back. He has said, you know what? I'm not done. I'm not washed up. I still got what it takes. I'm still Phil Galfond. I'm going to crush these motherfuckers, and I'm going to take all the side bet of the money. There's going to be millions of people playing at Run It Once Poker, and Run It Once Poker will become the top poker site in the entire world. That's his plan. And also, I do believe the conspiracy theory is he did this to get out of his parental responsibilities because he didn't want to take care of his newborn child, and we're going to discuss that theory with him, as well as Luke Shorts, Jane Andes, and more. We're joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Phil Galfond. Phil, welcome to the podcast. Welcome back.
Thank you, Joe. I feel like you just summarized the next, 1 to 2 hours. I don't know if we need to do this.
Well, technically, Phil, I am working on a video tomorrow, which has required me to dive deep into the history of your life. So I'm on the ball when it comes to this. The whole, I've been in my mind. It's in my head, right? Like, you got this guy, right? I'm trying to tap deep into the psyche of a Phil Galfond for the video to try to better explain who Phil Galfond is and how we got to this point in time over the course of a 12 to 15 minute video. So this stuff's on the top of my mind. I've been reading a lot of your old blogs. They're very well written. I've been enjoying them a lot. Thank you very much. I'm glad. I miss blogs, man. I miss it when people used to write down how they're feeling and how their poker's going, because one, it's easier for me to consume, I feel like, and go back in time, but everything's on video now, and everything's, it's formatted in 12-minute format, so you can't really just take 3 minutes, kind of skim through something and get a base picture of what's going on. So it's kind of disappointing that we don't have more blogs out there.
Yeah, it has gone more video. I didn't think about that till you just mentioned it. I still write posts, but they're posts about Run It Once Poker now. I don't have the time to write blogs as well. But
Speaking of not having time, Phil, how'd you find time for 2.5 months of a heads up challenge against six players? And by the way, we got to talk about this whole Bill Perkins Thirst Lounge thing. But how'd you find the time for this, Phil? What happened? You changed a few diapers and you decided better to play some high stakes heads up PLO or what?
No, I mean this isn't cutting into my diaper time. It's cutting into my run at once work time, you know? Um, I was already pretty busy working on the site, and um, I kind of resolved recently at some point last year. I think it was about summertime. Resolved to try to play more poker, and made some plans. Was like, okay, well, I'll play the World Series, and then I'll start getting involved in the live cash games. And the plans didn't really come to fruition. I played a few sessions here and there, but it's unless you, I'm realizing that just like there are always things to do
Mm-hmm.
when you run a business, and it doesn't necessarily have to be me that does them. But when I see things, I'm not going to ignore them, and so it's basically like, yeah, I tried to get back into poker more, didn't really work because it just consumed me too much, the run once poker stuff primarily, and I mean the challenges kind of came about for the entirely different reasons, which we can talk about. But it was kind of I don't know. What I'm realizing now is this is going to take the place of a lot of my work on run once poker, and I'm going to have to, leave it in the hands of people. I mean, in many places more capable than me. So it's not a problem. It's just an adjustment, and I'm gonna have to learn how to unplug. And I can't wake up in the morning before I play 4 or 5 hours against Veni Vidi, and responding to a bunch of emails and chiming in on a bunch of things and being stressed about this or that. So my biggest kind of challenge right now is disconnecting from all that. But that's what it's going to take the place of.
Yeah,
I
so
still got
basically, how the challenge is going to work, from what I understand, is that you're going to be streaming 5 days a week. So you won't be streaming, but somebody
right.
will be streaming 5 days a week. It'll be 4 hours a day, and it'll take place in the morning time live on Twitch. Is that correct?
That's correct. And so like the match dates and times are going to vary challenge to challenge, depending on the challenger and their schedule and mine. But so the first one with Veni Vidi, we're playing 8 to noon Pacific every day. So that's what, 11 to 3 East Coast. And that's the minimum that we're going to play, because we had to set up terms that we kind of have to agree to so that we don't end up in a situation like some other challenges that we know of, where it just doesn't get played. So we have these minimum requirements per day, per week, a couple exceptions where we can take a day off or take some timeouts. But then otherwise there are financial penalties if one of us is available to play and the other during those hours and the other misses it. So I had to do that because
I wonder why. I mean, technically, there are financial penalties for other bets, but how do we know? How can we? How do we know?
yeah,
Right? I mean, how do we make sure these challenges get done, Phil? We've seen with a challenge like this in the past, it didn't really get done. So how do we
yeah.
ensure that my man Bill Perkins ain't going to run away from playing Phil Galfond? How do we ensure that this is going to take place? Jungle Man ain't going to get scared. How do we ensure that? Jungle Man probably gets scared.
I don't know if Jungle Man gets scared. I
I
don't
don't
think he
think
has
so. What
that
if you just
emotion.
quit? What if you just quit? What if you just stopped playing Jungle Man for a couple years?
It would be really funny.
That would
7,500 hand challenge, and I just play 500 hands. I'm like, I need a break, Jungle.
So I'm done. I'm gonna take a break.
Yeah,
I'm going to Asia. I'll be there
yeah,
in Asia for 3 years. Right? I'm taking Farrah. I'm taking the child. My mom's
yeah,
coming with. Dad's coming with. We're done. That's it.
yeah.
So
Well, that's why you have side bets. And for the most part, I've squared away the details with most of the challengers. There are a couple where there's still a couple final things to decide, but I mean, like Veni Vidi, for example, he's the first one I kind of finalized terms with. We start tomorrow, and then the penalties start if you miss stuff, and obviously if there's a kind of a mutually agreed upon break, or like he gets sick and needs, like, we'll be reasonable. But for the most part, yeah, we have those in place so that the challenges can go on, and not only so that we can finish this one 25,000 hand challenge, but so that before WSOP time, I can knock out 5 of these. Is the hope.
All right, Phil. I'm going to tell everybody what they want to hear. Phil, if you can win all these challenges, I'm going to play you. All right? I'm the end boss.
All right.
I'm the end boss here, right? If Phil can win all of these challenges or half of them. Phil wins half of them, I'm going to play Phil, okay? And I'm not playing him for $1 million or $250,000. But I'll play Phil in some sort of friendly arrangement, okay? I know he's going to be tired, but he's also going to be sharp and at the top of his fucking game at that point. I realize this is one of the dumbest things ever, but yeah, that's it. I'll get more into that later. So, Phil, who is Vini Vidi? People out there don't know who he is. I really don't know much about him, except I know he used to play he kind of grinded his way up from the mid stakes to playing high stakes. So who is the Vini Vidi? And because that's going to be starting tomorrow. Yeah. So who is this mysterious? Is he Eastern European? Is he Swedish? Like, does he? What do we know about this guy?
I don't know very much. I mean, I've been in contact with him, but I haven't asked him. Actually, I just recently emailed him and our team just for help with his bio, because we're going to put his bio up on our website, and we need some details because there's not that much, to be known. I don't have a great answer for you. I think you know as much as me.
We don't know the guy yet. So our first challenge, the Phil Galfond challenge. We have 100. We're putting up 100K, and
no, we're putting up 200K.
Well,
to his 100K.
You got to fix your website then, buddy. Okay, because it says that Bill's putting up 200K and Phil's putting up 100K. So technically that's incorrect. So who's putting up more in this first challenge here coming up?
Where are you looking?
I'm looking at runatonce.eu/news/the Galfond challenge. Yeah, it says Bill. Just the graphics wrong. Just graphics got to get fixed. That guy's fired, by the way. He's done. Okay. We're firing our graphics team here. So.
Oh, it just went up. Oh, that just went up now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good article. Yeah, it's just kind of recaps kind of what's happening with the challenge.
No, it's right. It says Vini Vidi 100K, Phil 200K.
Okay, mine says something different then.
Maybe hit shift refresh.
Maybe they fixed that. I just caught it.
They might have fixed it.
Yeah, they did fix it. You're right. They fixed it.
Nice. Good job, guys.
Nice job. Nice work, guys. Take it back. You're right. He's rehired. The guy's rehired. He's not fired.
Yeah, maybe they were watching the pod and they just fixed it.
We bring him back in. It's okay. We bring him back in. Okay, so you're putting up 200K to his 100K. We don't know anything about him. Do we know he's not a bot? How do we know he's not?
I mean, he's played high stakes on Stars for quite a while, and never been accused of being a bot.
Whatever. I don't want to talk about it. Let's move on. I'm fucking sick. I'm sick of talking about this fucking shit, man. I'm sick. I'm just done. I'm done. I'm sick of talking about it, man. Okay. So Vini Vidi, it's starting tomorrow. You're playing. How many hours do we think that it's going to take to get in these 25K hands? Whoa. Oh my God. What are you doing? What was that? No. What the? Oh my. Bro, you see how Phil big time me like that? I drank out of my water cup. He pulls out a goddamn jug. Are you trolling me right now, Phil?
In my office.
Well, you gotta show me up on my own podcast with that big jug. What's going on?
I don't know if you remember this. My office in Vegas, behind me is a water machine, but I don't have that here, so I have to, come prepared.
You gotta bring the jug with you, man. I mean, come on. Are you trolling me right now with this jug?
Yeah.
Holy crap, man. My God, it's a secret.
Drink a lot of water.
I can tell with a jug like that. I agree.
Yeah. Anyways, it's gonna take a while. I'm not sure. So the Run-It-Once software is a little faster than Stars.
Bang.
The hand dealing and the time banks. So I don't know exactly. I'm gonna guess like somewhere between 200 and 300 hands per table per. No. Like 100 to 150 per table per hour. We're starting with 2 tables. That's the plan. I don't know if we'll ever go to more. I don't know if we'll ever go more hours. But let's say 1,000 hands a day, basically, 5 days a week. So that's 5 weeks if we do the minimum ish. But also like there are breaks during the day, so maybe make it 6 weeks if we don't ever play more. I'm hoping and I'm hoping that we can add like an hour to each day, something like that. But we didn't want to each. Well, really, I'm like apparently I'm the only person that still like plays online high stakes that wants to play like 10-hour sessions. It's not healthy, and I'm the only one with that habit apparently. So I was up for more. He said he's up for more if he sees, how this is. He doesn't want to commit to more though.
Right. So, makes sense.
So we'll see.
So start off 4 hours. It's going to be 5 days a week. I'll be doing updates on all of my social media platforms as well too. I'm going to work together with Phil's team, and I'm going to try to get some of the highlight moments in place for the big hands or more interesting hands. I'll be going over them on my YouTube channel as well. So I'll be talking about the challenge as it takes place. We'll be looking over the major hands throughout the challenge. It takes place as well too. Maybe we get a podcast with I'm pretty sure we'll get a podcast with Jungle and with Bill and with Chance. I don't know about Vini Vidi or Action Freak. If we can get them on the show, maybe we learn more about them as well too. That way we can put a face with these names. And Phil, so I want to talk about this Bill Perkins. Okay, so you're playing against Bill Perkins and the Thirst Lounge, right?
Yeah.
So the odds are 5 to you're 1 million to Bill's 250. So it's
4 to 1. 4 to 1.
What kind of how'd you get that? How'd you do that, Phil? You're playing against the Thirst Lounge, right? You know what Thirst Lounge? These aren't Omaha players. Like their experience playing PLO is going to maybe play the local 1-2 game, I think, or something like that. These guys mainly play Omaha tournaments. How'd you get them on the hook at 4 to 1 for playing against Thirst Lounge?
Well, keep in mind that this is the only challenge with a stop loss. So it's over when somebody loses 20 buy-ins. So even though, I think that both sides, both Bill and I know that I'm going to have an edge in the match. I don't think there's any confusion about that. But the fact of the matter is 20 buy-in swings happen at PLO, even when you're have a pretty decent edge. And you can plug in assumptions into a variance calculator and decide what you will, but I think this is pretty far from a sure thing. Definitely. And especially because I know that Bill has said, Bill understands. He's a sharp guy, as you know, and he said, going to be looking to up the variance. I have a feeling when I 3-bet, I'm going to get 4-bet. So, I'm going to be trying to fade the variance essentially. And also I'm going to be not struggling, but normally, especially against people who are not PLO pros, I would be focusing a lot on reads and sizing tells and looking at showdowns and be like, okay, this guy does this way, I'm going to adjust this way, but they can swap out at any point. So developing reads is difficult for me. I still like my side, but I don't think it's as clear cut as I don't think this is my most likely bet to win.
Which one do you think is the most likely bet? Phil, you know what?
I'd rather not say.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I think this is the one. All right, fuck it. Anyone wants action on my man on Perkins' side and the Thirst Lounge side? I like the Thirst Lounge, and I like, those are my guys there. I support them a lot. But going up against Phil Galfond and that big ass jug of water at Heads Up Potlam in Omaha.
Yeah.
Are people allowed to take PEDs? Are we drug testing people? Is there an Adderall restriction here? Is there some sort of restriction on performance enhancing drugs? What's our stance for the challenge on this, Phil?
No restrictions on drugs.
Okay.
It didn't occur to me, to be honest.
You're worried. Okay.
I'm gonna back out of these challenges. Actually,
is that official? Are we calling them off right now?
Yeah.
Are we done?
Call them off. Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't think this through, man.
Yeah,
I didn't think this through.
I've liked this approach you're taking here in terms of you guys got the website set up, you got some cool graphics made. It's like we're sort of slowly evolving to maybe what the rest of the world is doing in terms of promoting their events and promoting kind of what they're doing out there. So it feels like there is a lot of hype getting generated for this, and then so people are gonna be able to watch it live on Twitch, correct? So that's gonna be the place to go. Okay.
Yep, and we'll have commentary. It'll be a live broadcast. For Perkins and Jungle Man, each side has agreed to stream. So in that case, I'll be streaming myself rather than, commentary with the observer view.
So Perkins is going to stream and talk about his strategy when he's playing.
Yeah, and
Cool.
the Thirst Lounge, but
That's
I'm
really
not
cool.
allowed to watch their stream.
So when
There were some other stipulations too. I have a banner now up on my Twitch for his book. That was part of the deal for 2020. I forget the rest of the stipulations.
a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on.
So will that background with that wall with the ice cream dots that looks like we're at the store Dots, which is a great ice cream place. Like I feel like if I had the Dots background in my apartment or my room, I'd be hard to focus because I'd want ice cream a lot. So do you feel like when you turn around, that's going to be a hard thing to regain your focus? You mentioned kind of snapping in, snapping out. I feel like that's just going to make me want to eat ice cream a little bit too much. So are you?
Yeah. Well, it's, like when you're
We gotta look at that thing the entire. Man, we get a paint guy in
when
there.
you're
What do you think?
climbing
We get a paint
when
guy
you're
in
climbing
here?
a huge ladder, right? There's a rule, you don't look down. So
Okay.
I'm just not going to look back while I play,
Okay.
and I'll be fine.
Seriously, what's up with that background? What's up with the dots in there?
I think this was a kid's room.
Can we repaint
Before
the
it
room? You think? What do you think? You think we get a guy in there? I got a guy in Vancouver. We get a guy in there. He'll take care of that wall real quick. Maybe we paint. What if we paint a Run It Once poker mural on the wall for the challenge?
Okay. You got a guy?
Get in touch with the guy. You're in Vancouver, right? I mean, I know.
Yeah.
Never mind, I know where you're at, but never mind. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do know a guy actually. Yeah. So do you think? Are we running the place? We got a landlord. What's the stipulations?
Yeah,
here?
I mean, I have it for the year. I don't know if they're gonna let me paint it. Maybe we could put like.
Let me talk to him.
Maybe we could paint like something to put over it.
That's what I'm thinking. We get like a banner or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like Run It, Long Live, Run It. We know that at the World Series of Poker they have the banners of the champions on the wall.
Yep.
Maybe we get
Just
a banner like that. We can kind of hang from the top. We get it down there. Maybe it changes every week or something like that. I don't really know. I'm throwing. I mean, I like the dots. I want ice cream bad right now.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of some other ideas, right? I feel
Yeah.
like you're gonna have
Yeah.
100 banners up there. You're gonna have fucking Chance's site up there. You're gonna have Perkins' book up there. You're gonna have Jungle Man. You're gonna have Jungle Man's that naked video he made playing on repeat during each break or something like that. So I feel like there's all the sorts of these stipulations right there. And bro, I'm so excited, man. I really am. I'm so pumped up about this. We haven't had an actual like let's focus on the game itself, right? We don't really get to see that very often. Like let's watch one of the best poker players in the entire world. Let's see what he's got, right? And you're risking a lot of money here, brother. 100, 200 euro stakes for this first match, 25,000 hands. I mean, are we worried that I mean, not necessarily worried, but there's a chance that maybe we do a buyout at some point in time, right? So let's say you're up.
It's possible, yeah.
Right. I mean, if you're up, you're up $1 million, right? Maybe the guy wants to buy out. He realizes he can't do it or vice versa. Maybe you decide you want to buy out. We could definitely see some real money changing hands in this situation, and it could be pretty bad for one of the sides.
Yep. No, definitely. And I think that if anybody's up, like right now, especially, with most of the matches, right, neither side really knows what their edge is or lack of edge is. Obviously, that's part of why these challenges happen. And so, if the nature of poker is that it kind of obscures the edge. So we might play 10,000 hands and we still don't know. But it's definitely possible that you get to a point where you're down enough and it's pretty clear that you're the underdog and it just makes sense to buy out. And the buyout is the side bet. You just pay the side bet, which is what you're going to pay anyways if you play the rest of it and lose.
Oh, okay. So there won't be. Okay, that makes sense. Maybe someone...
Yeah, so at any point, if Vini Vidi wants to just quit and pay me the 100K side bet, he's allowed to do that.
Okay. So did Jay Nandez pay you the side bet when he quit the challenge, or did that not take place?
No, we were not. we were not officially booked.
It looked official to me. I don't listen, Phil.
Yeah,
Here, let me walk people through, right? So Jay Nandez, right? You guys know Jay Nandez. Phil put out the main challenge to other Potlam and Omaha coaches. He said, "I'll play any PLO coach. I'll give him 5-1 or something like that." Right? Phil's basically saying, "I'm gonna destroy you, motherfuckers." That's what he's saying without him saying it. I'm saying it for him. He's not gonna say it that way. He said, "You guys think you can coach? Let's play. All right. You think you know what you're doing? Let's play." It's what he said. So Jay Nandez, after some back and forth, you two negotiating, he came out and he accepted the challenge. And I was fired up because I'm ready to see two great PLO players. And no matter what Jay Nandez backs out challenge, he's still a great Potlam and Omaha player. And he puts up great Potlam and Omaha content, okay? Can't take that away from Jay Nandez. And a lot of people were excited because now we get to see these two people in the Potlam and Omaha community battling it out. Let's see who's the best, all right? The bet's agreed upon. The hype's getting built up. And then he comes out with a statement and he says, I thought it was for fun. I didn't know it might take a couple months, stuff like that, which I can understand. And I can understand him backing out. It makes like I got it too. And it's just unfortunate for the fans that we don't get to see that take place. But what were your kind of thoughts as the guy who I know you went back and forth with him and then the challenge is accepted and then is backed out via the letter. What was kind of your thoughts on that?
It is unfortunate because that was kind of I mean, he has a very big following. He's a big supporter of Run It Once Poker.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like that was the match that was going to be like maybe most exciting for the community and best for Run It Once Poker as a result. So I was really excited about that match. It didn't work out. He wasn't up for it. So I mean, I was bummed about that for the same reasons I was excited about it. But a lot of people did. He got a lot of criticism for it, and a lot of people said he should pay a side bet. I was in contact with him, and it was pretty clear that he was letting me know, hey, I'm still raising the money to finalize this, and it didn't feel to me like it was finalized in any way. We were pretty and I was saying to him, hey, can you hurry on the raising money because I need to finalize this because otherwise I have to fill. I mean, 50,000. We were going to play 50,000 hands. That's a lot of challenges, and that's like a lot of this time. So I would have had to fill in with backups. So it was pretty clear in our conversations that it wasn't officially booked.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think people kind of obviously you got a lot of criticism for that from people on social media. A lot of people calling him names. I mean, I think that's kind of uncalled for, to be honest with you, because like the guy. They agree to a challenge and then back. I mean, I feel like people are being mean, and there is some sort of precedent with this in terms of the things he's been involved with in the past, so I could understand that. But in terms of like the hatred I saw being thrown his way, I thought that was kind of undeserved in a way. Like he backs out, whatever. Maybe we laugh about it. Call him pussy, whatever you guys want to say, right? You're scared, buck, chicken, kind of the name calling that the usual kind of teenagers sort of do like that. But I don't know. I've seen some things kind of went a little far. I feel like so. But I would I would have liked to see that one take place, man.
Yeah, no, me too. I really would have. It would have been really good for Run It Once Poker. But we moved on. We got another coach. We got Chance. Which
that's true. I was.
And I mean, I was
going to take it one way there, but yeah, big shout out to Chance Corn. The Chance. He plays a lot of different things. He mainly plays. I mainly think of him as an home tournament player, but I know he plays a ton of cash. Plays high stakes cash as well too. The guy is coaching people. He's working with people. I like the guy a lot. I've had him on the show a few times. Love his personality as well. So he'll be willing to play on his show, and he's definitely not afraid to play. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's going to work hard at his game. So we got Chance to step in there, and he's going to be playing against you. He's putting up 250K to your 1,025,000 hands, and I'm really looking forward to that one too.
They got it wrong. It's 35,000.
Are we firing? Are we sure we're not firing this guy, Phil? You want me to take him outside? You want me to take him out back with I'll bring Luke Shorts over here. He's in the Luke Shorts is in the living room right now, waiting to come on here and talk to you. He said he's got a challenge.
No, our design team's awesome. It's like
we let him keep his job or what? Sure?
Yeah,
okay.
we gotta keep him.
We let him keep his job. What's his name? Nick? Is that his name?
No, Nick's our. I mean, I don't know which. We have a few designers. Maybe this is Drew.
Okay. Drew, we need to have a conversation, buddy. Come on, let's get the graphic right here, right? We got the graphic right here.
Drew's the man. He can stay.
He's rehired? Okay. He's rehired. Okay. He's back. Any rumor, any truth to the rumor that Mike Pasta was thinking about accepting the challenge?
I don't know. I wasn't. He didn't get in contact with me.
I heard he wanted to play at Sacramento at Stones Live. He wanted to play 10,000 hands where he'd have access to his patented device in his crotch area. Is that true? Did people talk to you?
He didn't get in touch with me. Maybe my people stopped it.
Okay.
Because a lot of them went through they emailed the site and they passed them on.
Oh yeah.
Might have protected me.
Yeah, it makes sense. I saw Luke Shorts actually. Luke Shorts. I don't know what he's thinking. One day he got a little fired up and he started to calling. He's calling himself Solve for Y or something like that. So Luke Solve for Y Shorts called you out and said that he wanted to play you in a heads-up challenge, and then you accepted. So are you and Luke Schwartz going to be playing in some sort of heads-up, like a mixed game challenge or something like that?
I hope so, because that'll be a fun one, too. I don't know yet. We're still talking about it. So
what's there to talk about? Let's play. What's the problem?
To be determined.
What's the issue?
Well, there's timing. I think he wants to play fewer hands than I had challenged him to. Because he doesn't just want to spend the time. It's a lot of time. But yeah, we're still talking about it.
Well, I mean, if he's so good and confident, he should want more hands, right? Take more money from you.
That's what I would think. Yeah.
I mean, listen, he came out with this very aggressively worded tweet about the situation. I'm thinking he wants to play. Why would he want less hands, right? A guy that comes out, that bravada, that braggadocious, like ready to fucking solve the issue. You'd think that Luke would be ready to play a lot of. I mean, honestly, Phil, I would think that he would want you for as many hands as he possibly can.
I actually would have thought that as well. I'm like pretty well known as not a strong mixed game player.
Bang
I
bang.
think that's like well known in the mixed game world.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just doesn't want to commit to that much.
I mean, it's a long time to be fair, right? A lot of us are older
It
now.
is.
They got families, they got a wife, they got kids, they got the local game they can play against some fun players who
Yeah.
aren't professional poker players. So I can understand why. I need some water, man. I keep coughing. I'm
Yeah.
too fired up today, man. I'm on our level today, Phil. I'm fired up. It's good to be back, brother. I appreciate you coming on the pod. I know.
It's good to have you back.
So let me tell you what's been happening here, guys, behind the scenes. Give you a little BTS info. So Phil, he made this challenge, right? And he's been messaging me all the time. He's like, bro, we need to hype this up, right? We've been talking about hyping up things that are great for.
I was like, where is Joey? This has Joey written all over it. This is everything Joey has ever wanted for online PLO.
You really were.
Joey was nowhere to be found.
You were messaging me. You're messaging me. Yeah. You're getting into. I'm in the lab. I'm kind of in my own little world. I'm studying. I'm trying to clear Mike Postle's crotch out of my head. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
But it's good to be back. I came back just in time. I'm very excited for this, man. I feel like the poker world lately, we've been in a little bit of lull, right? Not been much action going on. Just not much not much focus on the play itself, but more focus on sort of the things going on the outside, right? And I think it's cool to be able to have at least something where we can focus on the winners, focus on the players, we can focus on the play, and we can watch some hands, we can go over some hands, and we can hopefully have an entertaining show. We get some good matches, we get some good back and forth, and then we get some hands that we can go over and kind of talk about, and then people can get a little bit more excited about the great game of Potlam in Omaha. And yeah, I feel like that's what's going to happen right here with this challenge. And we got a good few months out of this too, so I think that's going to be cool. And maybe it inspires other people to potentially come up with their own challenges as well too. And maybe that Run It Once Poker can host those challenges as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping as well. I'm hoping that the ideal scenario is I just crush everybody, nobody wants to play me anymore, and then somebody else starts doing some challenges on Run It Once Poker.
So all the challenges will be on Run It Once Poker, is that correct? Or are we going to do some of the other challenges potentially on another platform?
So Brendan Adams is going to play live. Chance and I are still discussing where we're going to play. Haven't finalized that. Action Freak, Vini Vidi, Bill, all want to play. Jungle Man says he'll play on Run It Once Poker, but like realistically, I don't have a lot of faith that he's gonna like set up his account, go through the account verification, deposit. Like I think I might just have to end up playing him on a site he already has an account because Jungle Man's a busy man.
I mean, listen, when you're surrounded by 10 to 15 to 35 naked women all the time, right? It's like it's real tough to load up Run It Once Poker, download the client, make an account, submit a form. It's tough. I can understand that. Yeah, I understand how the 35 beautiful ladies that the Jungle Man's been known to travel with take precedent over submitting that nice verification.
I mean, they
form.
get so bored if you're just opening online poker accounts, I would think.
You'd think that, right? But I have seen a video of Jungle Man actively multi-tabling heads up while surrounded by said beautiful ladies. So
okay.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, they don't look happy with him. I'll put it like that. They look at him and they look a little angry for sure. Yeah, they don't look too thrilled about it. So
yeah.
So tomorrow, challenge is getting started. You guys can tune in on Twitch. Recap here. I'm sure Phil will be posting results as well. I'm sure the poker world will be talking about this. We'll try to get some of the hands out there. And what else do we got to say about this challenge, Phil? Because I feel like you've done a lot of interviews about this. You've done a lot of podcasts. You've been doing better on kind of getting the word out there that these are going down. So what are kind of the vital things that you feel like I feel like we understand, right? You're doing this in order to help draw attention to Run It Once Poker, your poker site that you started last year. I think that's going to be the main goal here, and then also play some poker, which I know that you love doing.
Yeah, no, it started from a place. It started actually as a Run It Once training thing to the challenge. Like the first idea was to challenge coaches, like I did. But then
let's stop there. What do you mean? What do you mean you want to challenge coaches? What do you mean, Phil?
Well, so no, in
That's why you
short,
come on
right,
the pod, brother. You know what I mean? I ask you the questions no one else can ask. Why do you want to challenge the coaches, Phil?
well, I noticed, so I noticed at the end of last year or whenever, yeah, that my video views on Run It Once were going down. And I thought, well, that makes sense. I don't play poker anymore. So, why do people think they need to come learn PLO from me? And so I still felt that I uh, had a lot to teach them and that
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people would be better off learning from me. That's what I personally believe. And so I thought of the challenge as a way to kind of show that. And initially, I was going to, yeah, open it up to, well, kind of in the same way I did it 3-1, 50,000 hands. I was going to be willing to play lower stakes as well. But as I started talking to the team about it, we realized, and actually, like during this time that I was talking to the team about it, which was like it was over a month and a half of like slow conversations on like slow threads. I decided to spend the first half of the year in Vancouver so that I could play on Run It Once and stream. And once that became a reality, we realized how big this could be as a promotion for Run It Once Poker. And so then it shifted to kind of more open to everybody, higher stakes for bigger spectacle. And that became the focus. And then as it's gone on and as I, got challengers and was talking with them and starting to prepare, I think like the idea is still to promote the site, but personally, like it's become more about I'm excited to play
Mm-hmm.
poker. That's what it's like. That's my main motivation right now. I mean, the main reason was to promote Run It Once Poker, and I still really hope it does that. That's still very important to me. But as far as my like day to day, what I'm thinking about, I'm excited to play poker. It's been a really long time.
Mm-hmm. I love it, man. I mean, I can't overstate how excited I am to watch this take
Okay,
place,
awesome.
right? I mean, I might even pop up to Vancouver for a little bit, maybe get a place,
Yeah,
hop on Run It Once Poker myself, get in
let's
the
do it.
games a little bit, kind of get some action in there. I see my girl Veronica in the chat. What's up, Veronica? What's happening, Mamacita? What's happening? And we got John Little out there in the chat. What's up, John Little? One of the hardest working
Yeah, John.
businessmen, hardest working poker players in a poker community.
Yep.
John Little, what John say? John said, thanks for the podcast, Joe. Glad to see you back, and good luck, Phil. Looking forward to the challenge. Big shout out to John Little. I swear to God, John
Thank
Little.
you, John.
John
Yeah.
Little has released a video in some form for the past 8 years, and the guy has about 860 products out there. If me and
Yeah,
John
that's
Little,
crazy.
if we took John Little's consistency and business acumen and combined it with my psychoticness, I feel like we got something, John. Right? We got like Amazon. We got something out there, right? Because I'm like the worst businessman. John Little's out there getting that money. So the man's doing good work, man. Big shout out to John Little. I gotta show the guy love, man. I feel like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, man? I just respect the grind. I respect the hustle. Like I see that out there. I see him working, and it's definitely recognized here. Kara Deviline says, "Do Phil have 100% of his own action?" Yeah, Phil. Are we selling action? Or are we taking it all? Like what's
So
the stakes involved here?
I have most of it. Specifically in like the long odds side bets, I've hedged quite a bit because if I were to get swept, especially and lose the like 1 million against Bill and against Chance, would
Jeez.
be too much to lose.
Yeah, yeah. So what does that mean?
But I have most.
By head? What is it? So what does that mean for people out there? So you're what's that?
I kind of like, well, sold some. Mostly just sold some, but and
Okay,
also like I'm considering kind of like buying insurance of sorts.
Phil, I got an
Yeah.
idea.
Okay.
What if you open it up to the public and the public can buy action of one of the side bets?
So I was thinking about doing
I don't
that.
like it. Okay, all
I,
right, all right.
I was thinking about doing opening up for the
Ner.
action anyways. I think people, yeah, it's not a bad idea. I guess yeah, it's not a bad idea. Okay. I was thinking for like them, just like the action as a whole for some of the challenges, but maybe just the side bets would be good since that's what I'm, yeah, looking to have less of.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're talking about let's hedge it. Well, perfect, right? I'm sure people out there would love to invest in that, love to have a little piece of the action. I remember we saw with Phil Hellmuth when he played on that Poker After Dark. I think I commented that the one day where he made a very questionable play. I believe it was like the Jack 5 or something like that. And the big thing we talked about was the investors on
Yeah.
I don't know which he works for one of the sites, and he lists his
Hmm.
packages up there. And we were talking about how the investors were so furious, they're getting fired up. And I feel like people having a little bit of piece of the action. I think when you look at the other sports and when you try to figure out how these things became popular, the sports betting and the people having a piece through the fantasy teams or through the daily fantasy sports or through betting on the action themselves, it's been a big reason why a lot of people pay attention to these different things. So if they have
Yeah.
an interest in the results of this challenge, that could be pretty cool for the fans. I know I'd get a piece for sure.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good idea. I think I was going to do based on the play, but the side bets actually work a lot better because the problem with like, let's say, this is one of the reasons I didn't figure it out in time for the first match is let's say I wanted to sell action for the whole thing against Vini Vidi. What do I make the bankroll?
That's
Because
true.
if I make it like 800K and I lose more than that, then is it just and I want to keep playing, is the action off? Or do I make it 3 million? So I'm not going to lose more than 3 million probably, but then like people get a small like return on investment and things like that. So the side bet makes a lot more sense because it's defined.
Right, exactly. It's kind of in place, and I think with the cash game, I don't know how they do it. Whether they do if they say it's 2 bullets and then after that I'm on my own or something like that. I'm not really sure how that works. So that's a really good question, and I can understand
Yeah.
you kind of be do you really want to sell $3 million worth of action and then you don't need it, you got to send it all back. I don't know if this is a hard or an easy process. I'm sure you could talk with the guys at Stake Kings or one of the
Yeah.
sites out there, and I'm sure they'd be willing to help with the promotion of that too, and kind of bring the community together a little bit. I see you have some announcers for things,
Hmm.
so I don't know what's public, so I don't want to say. Just you tell me what the presentation for the show is going to be.
I don't know what's public either.
I don't tell the guy there. So you just let me know what's out there. Okay, you let me know what
Well,
you
so
think.
I know that it's public that Joe Stapleton will be doing a lot of the commentary
Correct.
as lead commentator. Stapes, I'm excited about that. I really like him, and I know that we have the first week scheduled at least, or like first couple weeks of like analysts, which we'd like you to be one. Come on a couple
Yeah, I guess I can do it.
dual commentary with him.
Fine. I
But we're
guess.
starting with Richard Grieco for the first day.
Oh, that's my
Um,
guy. I love that guy. Man,
yeah,
shout out to Raconteur. He's a run at once coach. You guys don't know. He also great tournament player at Poplar Omaha as well. Very great poker mind. I like the way the guy coaches. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he talks. He's going to be actually, I really want to have him on the podcast at some point in time too. So he's going to
he'd
be
be
a
great
great
to have on the
be a
podcast.
great
Yeah.
person to do some analysis, man. He's a great player.
Yeah, great player. Yeah, is a fun guy to talk to too.
Who else
So
we
I
got
think
lined up for analyst? Are we not telling or something? Is it a secret?
I'm trying. I'm reading. So I'm reading the thing that you're reading,
Okay.
and it doesn't.
You're
and it
doing
doesn't.
you're doing the challenge. You don't need to read the thing. What are you talking about?
Well, no, but I don't know who's announced yet, so I'm gonna hold off, I guess. Well, hold
Okay.
on. Who else is scheduled? Whatever. You'll see. We'll announce it. I mean, we're gonna try to put somebody, an analyst in there every day, and we'll rotate through them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely. Let us know your availability. I in my mind, I thought it would be like very long days. I'm like 10 hours. Like fuck, man, it's gonna be tough, right?
Yeah, no.
But if it's only 4 hour days, in the morning time, that sounds like a lot of fun. Get up there talking PLO. I've been studying a lot more No Limit Hold'em lately because there's a lot more games to play, right? No Limit Hold'em's the more popular
Yep.
game, and it's something It's a lot easier to learn No Limit Hold'em these days than and
Yes.
get a really good strategy down to be able to beat people that just don't understand those things. So it's actually very fascinating to study No Limit Hold'em right now. But this will give me a little bit more incentive to get back in the PLO lab and work at that game as well too. So I mean, I love PLO. It's fun. I haven't really played too much these past few months. Just trying to take the step back from poker and shake all that crotch out of my head and shake all that poker out of my head and really figure out what the hell I want to do with my life and with my time moving forward here. So, but yeah, as I've been studying more poker and just consuming more poker strategy, I've been really, really enjoying it.
Nice.
And yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun, man. Have you been studying a lot lately? I know I
Yeah.
know a little bits, right? Bits and pieces, but studying's never been a big part. Active, I guess,
Yeah.
the consumption of this material that's formatted for studying purposes never been something that you've really done. Mainly, I feel like a lot of your studyings came from just deep thought about it, talking with other great poker players, and also articulating your thought process for the training videos that you create. But the actual, like, let me sit down and watch this and then take something away and then apply it to my game and go back and do it all over again. That's never been something that you've really done a lot of, correct?
For the most part, yeah. I do watch a lot of training videos, always have. But I watch them, I don't sit down and like take notes. I watch them at night to go to sleep. So I
Mm-hmm.
watch like, between 20 to a full video and then fall asleep. But I've been doing that. I probably watch, 5 a week, and I've been doing that for a very long time. But yeah, I mostly learn by playing and kind of getting concepts also from training videos and seeing what I like, what I don't like, and
Mm-hmm.
adjusting my thinking. But I think I learned the most from playing, and I've never really been good at sitting down and grinding. And especially like it was one thing to grind like you know, uh, just like in Hold'em Manager to go through and look at hands that people played or look at stats. That's something that I did rarely, but sometimes could do. But like solvers are different. They're like it's a lot denser of a product to study. So I did decide I had to do that for these challenges, as heads up PLO in this day and age is more technical than like than it has been before, and my fundamentals are weak, and I think that it's hard to overcome weak fundamentals in a heads up format against a pretty strong player.
Mm-hmm.
Or a very strong player. So I've been studying not as much as I wanted to. I thought that I was going to study, a lot more. And I think this, I don't know if we were talking before the pod started, but just, no, it was after it started, but just, running a business, things distract you. So,
They
you
do.
think, okay, I'm going to study 3 hours today. And then you get to your computer and there are 14 emails and messages and you're like,
Fucking
okay,
Nick.
well,
It's always Nick. He's always messing
Nick,
up a
man,
graphic on something, isn't he, man? I feel like this guy Nick.
Nick's not,
I
Drew's
know
the
I know
designer.
he's not the graphic. Shout out Nick. Nick's in
Okay,
the
good.
chat. Give him a shout out, man. Nicholas Steiner's his name. Big shout out to Nick, man.
Yeah.
Nick says, by the way, initial commentators are. Let me finish that thought first. Go because you're. I
No,
was really
yeah.
liking
So
what you were
I've
saying
spent
there.
like probably. So I had said something. Um, I forget some on 2+2 somewhere that I'd spent like 20 hours with solvers lifetime, and that's probably now like 33 hours
Phil,
since.
we're
Yeah,
we're giving this solver a different name. I'm done calling it solver. I'm done. I don't like that name.
yeah,
I'm done. I'm done calling it solver. I think it's the worst fucking name I've ever heard. Honestly, I feel like whenever you talk about solvers, everyone listening is just it's like
yeah.
bot.
Yep.
We got to call it something else. I mean, it's just a different way to study, right? It's not like
Yeah,
it's
it
like
is.
it's basically what it is. It's a different way to study, right? So I don't like calling it solver anymore. Let's just call it studying. Let's just say when I'm studying with the new material out there. I feel like we got to think of a nickname for solvers. We just have to.
Yeah.
Or I need to just make it like the word GTO, where it's no longer associated with some sort of like very nerdy, like, oh my god, that sounds
Yeah.
so hard, but more like a fun word, like GTO. Oh, this is GTO, that's GTO, whatever. Sort of make
Yeah.
it more of this word that isn't this word that people use to show how much better they are than you at poker. Oh, I study with the soul. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these guys out there like
I
to.
know. I do think that there's like the gap between like the tools over the years is not there's a perceived gap between everything else and solvers or whatever we're going to call them because they actually have answers. Whereas if in the past you studied with pro poker tools, poker juice, you would get like numbers, you get ranges, but you wouldn't get a final answer for what you're supposed to do. But the reality is like it's a better tool than we had before, but it's not that like it's different for sure. It's better, but so I mean, like Pro Poker Tools was better than what we had before that, and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
So, like, it's not as big a jump, I think, as people fear, and especially in PLO where like you just can't execute a solver strategy. The game, like, you just can't. It's impossible.
Well, we're gonna find out what happens with your first online opponent here, Vini Vidi, who is definitely more of an online player. And
Mm-hmm.
but one thing I was thinking about with specifically Vini Vidi and Action Freak. So a lot of these two guys have been around PLO for a very long time, and they learned how to get great at PLO without the use of the newer study material. So we all know that when you're used to studying with a lot of the older material, it takes a certain reprogramming of habits to be able to now sort of get away from that and then get into this new study material. And especially when you've built up this ability and knowledge and success approaching the game one way, it's hard to be like, okay, I'm just going to, sort of flip my game around in some ways and maybe start implementing these ideas and then study this way. So it could be something where maybe like, but whereas like newer players, they might all come up and a lot of their studying might be done with the newer strategies. So therefore they'll be more used to implementing strategies that the solver puts up, and then I guess modifying their game more and understanding more about why the programs are doing what they're doing. Whereas that wasn't the case with previous study material.
Yeah, it's probably more natural for them to digest what's in there than it is for other players. But you still need to be able to think like the same kind of things that you needed to be able to think previously.
Yeah.
And I like the worst thing you can do is just look at solvers and try to memorize what they do. Which I don't think that like Vini Vidi and Action Freak are going to be studying that way. I think they know better, obviously. But it's something a lot of people try to do is they just learn what the solver does in every spot and learn the right sizings, but they don't actually learn concepts.
Right.
And if you don't learn concepts, then you're going to be playing a strategy that like gives you false confidence. Essentially, I think there's a lot of that out there.
Mm-hmm. Nicholas said the additional commentators: Run It Once coaches Andreas Froelli. Shout out to Andreas, Corey Mikasel, and I've talked with Corey a bunch. He is, he's a great player. Very, very great Potman Omaha player, and I'll be excited to hear his commentary as well, too. And Parker Talbot, my boy Tonka, is going to be in the mix out there. We know Tonka is going to bring a lot of fun and excitement to the show as well, too. So those are the commentators we can announce so far. Right?
Yeah, I'm scared of Corey and a little bit of Richard, because Corey's going to know when I'm making mistakes a lot better than I do.
So do you want them to tell people in the commentary that you're making mistakes?
I don't care.
You don't care.
I want them to get. Right? Stapes is there for fun, and they're there to educate. So, yeah, I want them to make it enjoyable for the viewers, whatever that means.
Listen, guys, I want to give a big shout out to the chat. We got a lot of people in here right now. If you're enjoying the podcast, listen, if you want Phil Galfond to win the challenge, right? If you want him to come out a victorious winner, if you want Phil to win millions of dollars, smash that like button right now. I need you to go down there. I need you to hit it with all the might in your mouse. Break your fucking mouse if you got to. If you break your mouse, we'll talk to Nick. Nick will get you a Run It Once mouse. Do we got a Run It Once mouse?
We don't have a Run It Once mouse.
Oh.
See, this is why we need. You've been gone for a while. What
happened here? I go away for 3 months. I come back like we got
no
dots
mouse
on the wall. Like what's happening here? Nick's redoing graphics during the stream. Like I don't know what's going on here, man. Shout out to Nick, man. I like Nick. Yeah. I like this guy Nick. I'm telling you, you're putting together a pretty good team over there. People said, "Well, I stream the challenge. You want to watch it?" I mean, listen, I don't know. Maybe there'll be a stream on YouTube. Maybe there might be a stream on Twitch. I don't. Who knows, man? Maybe there'll be people. I don't. We'll see what comes up, right? Listen, I might get a little excited. I got to say that the match I'm most excited about is the Thirst Lounge. Now, I don't know who's still in the Thirst Lounge right now because I know they've had some moves and shakers, but if my girl, Ebony Kenny, plays you heads up at Potlam in Omaha, that is a match I'm there for. I'd like to see what happens with you versus Ebony. I don't know who's going to win that one. I'm going to take you, but I'd like to see it take place.
Yeah, cool.
I'd like to see that take place. So, guys in the chat, I see we've got a couple questions in the chat, and I want to respond to a comment I read on 2+2 the other day. They talked about how my eyes, when I do the podcast, my eyes glance away from the person. Now, you guys got to understand, I've done hundreds of podcasts, right? And I've 24 tabled for millions of hands. So, for me to be able to look at the chat and then look at my outline over here and then also be able to focus on what my guest says is one of the easiest things that I could possibly do with my life right now. So just because I glance there to see what the chat's saying doesn't mean that I'm not paying attention to what my guest is saying. And I've done that my entire time doing podcast. But because now we have the two screens, you're able to then see exactly what I'm doing. But I can repeat back to you what my guests say, and I can expand on what they're saying at any time. So that was a comment I read on 2+2. Big shout out to 2+2. And big shout out to everybody out there who's been consuming the poker content. Do you guys like this format better where it's the two side by side, or do you like it better with when it switches? I'm curious about that. What do you think, Phil? Do you like it better with when you can see both people talking, or do you like it better when it's one person talking and then our person talking? And then
I think I would rather watch both.
Yeah.
But I'm not really watching it right now, so I don't know.
Yeah, I usually listen to podcasts, so for me, it doesn't. People like Side by Side. What do they like? I don't know what they like out there. I'm not sure what they
All
like.
right, we got the chance. Nick updated the chance number of hands. So
Okay, the graphics updated.
35,000. Yeah.
All right,
Shift
thank
refresh.
God. I mean, they do turn around quite fast, Phil. I gotta say.
I mean, give a ton of credit to the team because not only like this idea came up at the end of
Side
last
by side.
year,
Okay,
and then I just didn't hear you.
it's okay.
Okay. It came up at the end of last year, and we, it wasn't until like December that we kind of had things finalized, and a lot of things had to happen, right? All the graphics that he come up with that's put a page on the website that I think is not up yet. It'll be up tomorrow. And then they actually had to make some changes to the software, not only to get all these avatars in, but to create like the observable table for our commentators to view the
Right.
action. There was just like it was a fast pivot, and actually the same thing happened with our Legends program. That was an idea that
What is the Legends? So is the Legends program? Is that something that is you're trying to get the PokerStars cash game players to run at once, or what's the Legend
that's
about?
so the Legends program itself is a rewards program. It used to just be Splash the Pot that we gave our rake back through, based on feedback due to popular demand. We added a kind of a more traditional volume-based rewards program. So through the combination of Legends and Splash the Pot, you can get anywhere between 40 and 75% rake back. And actually higher than 75 because we have bonuses for or multipliers for heads up and three-handed play. Stars Become Legends is the promotion that ends soon. It's only you have a week left. It's basically end of January. That we wanted players to come over, cash game players to come over from PokerStars, try out Run It Once, and we're giving them basically 8 weeks of extra rewards. The first 3, it's double the Legends rewards. For the next 5, it's 1.5 times the Legends rewards. We're giving them a free course from the ground up, which is an awesome Run It Once course, and then we're giving them between 1 and 3 months of Run It Once Essential. If basically like they get 1 month right away, and then if they're playing in the first month, then they get the next month. If they're playing in the second month, they get the third, more or less. So I think you can check that out at once.run/legends.
Maybe you gotta get me my weed. Give me the weed pen to understand that one real quick. Hold on, I get it. He's gonna have to repeat that one back to me real quick.
Yeah, once.run/legends. And
Okay.
you can
I'm
see that. And there's a video
let's
there.
run that back one more time. Okay. So people that come over from PokerStars are given extra rewards, including the Run It Once Essential and extra money in the form of rake back, which is outside Splash the Pot. And if they accrue a certain amount of points 1 month, then it carries over to the next month.
No, the point. Well, so if they reach certain, basically, it doesn't take much play to qualify for the extra months of Essential. So it's 1 month of Essential just for joining.
Okay.
But then they'll get 2 more months if they keep playing.
Okay. And this is on the Run It Once training site.
Yes.
Okay. And then what about rewards on Run It Once poker site? They get that for 2 months?
They get 3. They get 3 weeks of double Legends rewards.
Uh-huh.
So Legends rewards would be between. So Splash the
What's
Pot's
that mean?
30. Legends is between 10 and 45.
Okay. Extra.
Sometimes a little more. Yeah. And
Okay.
then so you could get them between, you double that, so 20 to 90. So you'd be anti-raking if you were in the higher tiers during the first 3 weeks. Actually, you'd probably be breaking even because part of the, anyways, let's not get into the weeds. But but then it's 50% bonus for weeks 4 to 8. So the next.
What
5
if we
weeks.
give a car to the guy who accumulates the most points? What? No. What if the top 20 accumulators of those players get to play it out for a car?
It's not a bad idea. I mean, I think we need to do.
Woo, we're throwing them out. What if we get them a trip to Vegas, right? And what if we all take them out? What if we take them out to dinner with the Run It Once team? We take them out for a night in Vegas, and I'll take them, and we give them to me for out of line. We give them 2 a.m. You guys all go home. I'll take them out of line night in Vegas.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'm
I
just
mean, not
throwing
for this
ideas out there.
for
What
this
kind
month.
of-
Maybe a future month promo.
Okay. What? Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I'm
Okay.
interested. Something like I'm just throwing.
Yeah.
Maybe Nick's got the graphic going right now. He's kind of excited. So, what is anti-rake? What's that mean?
Well, I mean that you'd be getting over 100% rake back
Wow,
essentially.
that's better than Supernova Elite time.
Yep. It's possible.
Did you ever get Supernova Elite, Phil? Or were you busy just making $1 million on
No.
the site?
I
Huh?
I never really played on stars until like I barely played on stars until Full Tilt shut down.
Right.
I was just
Yeah,
Full
you were
Tilt guy.
mainly on the Phil Tilt streets.
Yeah.
Those were fun. When all the remember? Do you remember the days when you just load up Full Tilt and there'd be like eight 2550 plus PLO
Yeah.
going and like open
Oh
siege.
yeah.
You could hop in. I mean, there are a lot of people playing matches. There's a lot of six max. There's these random accounts coming. I mean, it's just like
Yeah. I remember I mean like this I remember like 6 max 100 200 NL was just always running and like some there was 100 200 200 400 just running six-handed all the time.
yeah, I know. I mean, it's a little different now, but with that said, it's still not like poker. Still not very fun to play. It's not enjoyable to play. It's just I feel like what happened is that things evolved in the ecosystem, but the sites never evolved for whatever reason, whether they're not
Yeah.
incentivized or they just didn't. They kept the cash games the exact same way since 2007. And as we've seen in other games, all games evolve, all ecosystems evolve, all the ideas evolve as strategies become different, as the systems that people use to exploit those systems become more evolved, then the game evolves. And we didn't really see the sites take a proactive step to get rid of the seeding scripts or to promote the cash games as events or get people excited for things. We never really saw anything like that take place over the years. So I would argue that the reason why we don't see a lot of these high stakes games is because there hasn't been that visionary in a way to decide, you know what, I'm going to make it happen. I think it's worth it. I think it's valuable. And we've
Yeah.
seen a lot of the sites sort of use the high stakes games in order to build up their entire site and then abandon the high stakes games. And, now they're going other ways with their business
Yeah.
plans.
Yeah, no, I have some ideas for our high stakes games in the future, but got to get there.
Well, here's. I mean, listen. This isn't fucking hard, right? It's that we've seen what works, right? You take players that people know, put them in the game, and people are going to watch. I mean, this is really what it comes down to, right? This is it, right? You as
Yeah.
the game coordinator, Poker After Dark, Live at the Bike, high stakes poker, Triton poker games. What do these things have in common is that we know the players sometimes in the games. And the more that
Yeah.
we know the players and the more that we care about how these players do, then the more people are going to want to watch. And the
Yeah.
better production you put on for that event, the more people are going to know about it, and more people are going to come. This isn't even a rocket science type of thing, right? The best players playing in a way that people can watch and enjoy the action. So for me, it doesn't seem hard. It's just a matter of somebody having the resources and the capabilities and the connections and the ability and the desire to do it, which is the challenging part because the people that could want to do that can do a lot of other things, and they're probably
Yeah.
spending their time doing other things.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that I mean, well, we got these challenges for the first half of 2020. I'm hopeful in 2021 we'll Run It Once Poker will revive
Do are
nosebleeds.
are we scared of Run It Once Poker potentially shutting down at some point in time because of the lack of liquidity in the action?
I mean, not very soon, but it's always a possibility. Yeah, if we can't, I mean, Run It Once Poker does not make money. Run It Once Poker loses money every month, so we don't have infinite money to spend. So yeah, it needs to grow, and that's fortunately. I mean, like December when we introduced Legends, we had some growth. January, this starts to become Legends promo, which is we're giving a lot out to get the growth, but we've had some more growth, and I'm hopeful that the challenges will bring more. But that's kind of the biggest question mark for me with the challenges is like, I mean, we put a lot of we shifted a lot of priorities to get these ready. We're spending a lot on the broadcast and marketing and things like that for the challenge. I know that we'll get a lot of eyes on the challenge. I'm confident in that people will be watching. But what I'm not confident in is whether or not that'll translate into players playing on Run It Once, and that's what we really need.
Well,
And so
yeah, I don't see how it won't because you take a
it
look
has to
at
somewhat. It has to somewhat, but maybe not that much. I don't know. I hope that it's a lot. That's the biggest mystery, or like the biggest variable to me is I know they're watching, they're going to be watching, but yeah, what will it translate to in signups and traffic?
I don't see how it can hurt, right? And we've
Can't
obviously
hurt.
know the anonymous format works because there are other sites out there that are anonymous that work,
Yeah.
that have a lot of action on there.
Oh yeah,
But obviously the lack of tournaments does hurt.
it
But
hurts. Yeah.
we can both agree that previous to this point, the approach to get these new players out there has, been kind of here, and it's been all over the place, right? Some content's this, some content's that. Like, it hasn't really been this consistent push, this consistent messaging, this consistent effort. Like, okay, let's build a hype up for something over an extended period of time until people like, I gotta try it out, right? I'm playing, I just have to try the site. I have to give it a shot. I have to see, and there hasn't been something like this, right? And I think nowadays in 2020, when there's so much battle for attention out there, you kind of have to get in front of people's faces as much as you can, and there has to be some level of quality in terms of in that quantity of marketing as well too. And I feel like with this is quality product. It's a quality match. It's a quality event. Story to follow. So I don't see why people won't start signing up, assuming that they enjoy the product, which the product being Run It Once Poker itself, and then they can put money on the site too.
Yep. Yeah. No, and one thing, I mean, you talked about poker sites not evolving their cash games for many years, and I've kind of seen part of the reason. I don't know if this is the reason they haven't, but like we introduced Splash the Pot, which before we launched, it seemed like a slam dunk. Like you drop money into pots at random intervals. It does some things. It creates like a new dynamic, really fun for the players. It's a bot deterrent. Like so many things that are good for it. The rewards are in your face. You see the rewards for the whole table, including recreational players who like never get to see rewards on a lot of sites. But we launched that, and a lot of players, some told me directly, but a lot of people told me that their friends aren't playing because of this. We're like, I haven't studied 4 big blind ante, no limit. I just don't want to play there because I haven't studied. Like they're afraid of getting into these splash pots and not knowing what to do. And the same thing is true with anonymous games, or playing without their HUD. There's a lot of resistance to trying something different. And so, yeah, it's all risky. Anytime you do something different than what the other sites are doing, I think you risk not getting people to move over for that reason. I think most of those players are pros. I think that the recreational players, you don't, there's not as much friction there. They're willing to try new things. They're they haven't grinded 100 hours of whatever we're calling solvers on no ante, no limit. So they see 3 big blind ante. It seems fun. It's free money falling from the sky. Why wouldn't it be? And it mixes it up. But I think there's a lot of resistance, and I think it comes from a place of there are a lot of grinders out there who poker's gotten tougher over the years. They're eking out 0.5 big blind win rates, multi-tabling, and with any change, there's the fear that win rate goes away, and you're not going to see it immediately. And so there's the fear of playing, in minus EV games, which an anonymous play kind of augments that fear, exacerbates that fear. Is the word I was looking for. So I get it.
It's a really great point, Phil, because I know that when I was playing every day on Bovada, Ignition, whatever it was called, that whenever I would go play on sites with screen names, I would feel kind of lost. I actually felt like it made me significantly worse at overall poker with screen names because I was playing the 10-20 games on there basically every single day. And you build a different strategy in those anonymous games when new players pop up and they go away, and you try to identify, okay, this seems like that guy. And some of these guys are so fucking stupid that they would never mind. I'm not going to tell you they're stupid, but whatever. It's just easy to tell certain people are. I mean, I don't know why the fuck you'd ever do that with your strategy guys, but yeah, it was a different challenge. But then when you would go play with screen names, it'd be like, well, this thing I do here, like you just can't, it's not going to be good. Yeah. It's just not a good thing, right? You can't just auto start off with like 100% C-bet at a new table, right? It can't, now you start off and you go, okay, they know who I am, that yada yada, whatever. It's like the exact strategies that you can use and the diversification of strategies you can use in anonymous games, I feel like is stronger than you're going to see where the same names and how they play and you have this experience with them too. So in a way, I felt like it made me worse at certain aspects of poker, but at the same time, I thought it was more fun to play anonymous in some ways because you could kind of mix it up. You can represent yourself to be like a kind of a fishy play. You might show down a hand that, you know, so there's like all these other little mind games things you can play. But I did personally dislike the aspect of building up this dynamic with somebody and kind of going off that. But then I also did find that, you know, if you're playing against people who, you know, might be working together, or, you know, any sort of like out of line activities taking place, which I thought was highly likely on other sites I was playing at the time, then
Sure.
I liked the anonymous better because I didn't feel like they had as big of an advantage. And if they have an advantage and know how you play, and if they're doing something with your stats and then they're
If you're
working
combining
together,
databases,
right, it's really hard to overcome those kind of things like that. So that's why I felt like, but eventually I honestly got a little bored of the anonymous stuff. I played it for a long time. I did well on that site, but you know, it just kind of got a little stale to me, waking up every day and then playing against, you know, people that you don't know who they are and your name. And basically you're just kind of playing to make money really at that point in time, which is fun. And, you know, I enjoyed, but I also really enjoyed, I enjoyed beating certain players a lot. You know what I mean? That was a lot of fun of poker for me. Like I like crushing the fun players. I like crushing the tight regulars who only like to 4-bet aces, who don't necessarily do that anymore, but they still do. And, you know, I just like busting those guys, man. I really enjoyed that.
They're still there.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. So I felt like it took away that from me a little bit. And it's not necessarily what I grew up on enjoying, but as we see new players start to make their mark in poker and establish themselves in poker, I feel like maybe anonymous just becomes how people do learn poker in some ways, and it becomes more of a regular format. But maybe not, right? Maybe that doesn't work.
Maybe not. I mean, I think there's a place for both of them, and part of our decision, a smaller part, but part of our decision to go this route is there are a lot of places to play if you want to play with screen names.
Right, that's true.
There are not a lot of places to play if you want to play anonymous, and so, you know, we had our reasons mainly to make the game quality better, and you know, to stop some tools that we were trying to stop that make recreational players' experiences worse. That was the primary goal. But yeah, it's also something to be different. Like if we were trying to compete with PokerStars at being just like them, I don't see how we could compete. They have more players. They have, you know, software that's been tested over I don't know how many years. So it's just like we had to be different, I think.
They're on the UFC felt during Conor McGregor's fight. I mean, they're doing. Listen, their guys are geniuses, man. Their marketing is phenomenal. They do a great job. Whoever's in charge of those kind of stuff at MI, I mean, listen, they're in charge of the $1 billion company for a reason. Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't think they paid $4 billion for the company without having a pretty good vision. They probably had like a multi-year vision. Sports betting become legalized, and now they see the growth in that market. So now they're getting more and more in sports betting and just establishing themselves more as a brand and partnering with the UFC at the point that they did when before UFC had that deal with ESPN. And now I think UFC is going to be the biggest sport in the world at some point in time, even bigger than football, once they become more established here and once a few guys start popping really hard and once we get that big rivalry between two of the best in the world at the same weight division, and we have this ongoing rivalry where the third match, everyone in the world is like, I got to see this third match. It's like kind of like when the boxing rivalries were formed in the past, and that's what you tuned in for, those Rumble in the Jungles and those big superstar showdowns. And I feel like with the strategy, you know, get off topic here, but the strategy that UFC is taking in terms of maximizing their marketing ability on the new platforms is phenomenal, man. I love why I wouldn't want to work for many companies, but UFC is actually a company I'd like to work for because I feel like whoever's coming up with these ideas for original format, original programming, and the different strategies for each platforms and the actual promotion for the event itself is fucking phenomenal, man. It's something to if you like that stuff, they're like the greatest case study of all time, basically, man. So, but people think fighting's wrong. Do you think fighting's wrong, Phil?
Wrong? No.
No.
I mean, no. It's voluntary, right?
That's true. You think you'd be a fighter if fighting was more popular now? And we can go back in the day. Do you think that you would have been a fighter, fighting Phil?
I don't think so. No.
No. You know.
No, it's not in my nature.
Phil, I was talking to your mother the other day for a while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
She told me some interesting things about you, right, Phil? So you,
I'm nervous.
I say, of course you did, right? So I talked to Phil's mom, shout out to Lori, and I talked to Phil's lovely wife, shout out to Farah, for a video I'm working on for tomorrow, and just kind of get some insight, kind of ask some questions about Phil, ask some questions about the challenge, and yeah, kind of, it's interesting. You've always been a big game player growing up your entire life. You've always been trying to get better at the games you've been playing. You were in the sports as well too. Once you always enjoyed coaching, teaching, kind of doing those sorts of things like that.
Yeah.
So it's very fascinating that your life sort of evolved into being a high level teacher in a game that you dedicated all this time to. But these sort of habits were been building up since you were a kid, man.
Yeah, forever. I mean,
Yeah.
you when you look at a lot of poker players, especially I think high stakes players, they're all like competitive in some way. I mean, you have a lot of like elite athletes as well, like people that have been competitive in other games or whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of competitive drive I think required to get great at a game.
That's what you got, huh?
That's all I got. Yeah.
That's what you got? Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that a lot of poker players who became good, they were always into games, and they were and why what's good about games is that it shows you where you're getting better at, right? It shows you, okay, to beat this level, I need to do this better. So it
Yeah.
sort of makes it easier for you to understand the process of getting better at things. And I feel like if you've never really tried to get better at something that is structured and lets you know you're better at this is a step, this is a level, this is a level, it's kind of hard to understand the process of learning, of getting better, because it's not as black and white. It's more open-ended. Like if you want to get better at a relationship, you might say, okay, well, you put more effort in, and then, okay, you spend more time, you plan more dates, but maybe that actually works worse, right? Maybe that's not how you get. So it's kind of hard to, okay, well, I did this, and this might have got better here, but with this person it didn't work out well. This person didn't work out well. This person it might have. Whereas with a structured game, oftentimes, like you do something, it's going to work out, and you just know it works out. Okay, I got better. I got better like this. Okay, I need to get better at this. You can kind of see these areas where, okay, basketball, pick and roll, it's a basic offensive play. I have to get better understanding that, right? Or I might not be that good at basketball. So, but when you compare it to other things out there, maybe it's not as clear for the getting better process.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah. I would agree with that.
I don't
But
know.
I still think competitive drive is a big part of it
Yeah.
because I just don't know I don't think I can think of many high stakes players that aren't very competitive. Whether you see, I mean, like, I think people would meet me and not view me as a very competitive guy, but I am.
Right.
So whether you can see it or not, I think it's there.
Yeah. I
A lot
wonder
of the
what that
top
means
players.
exactly, right? That the idea of being competitive maybe meaning that you aspire to get better at something or do your best at something, maybe that is what we might mean by competitive then.
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's competitive with yourself and there's competitive with other people, which I probably people that are one are often the other. But yeah,
Maybe so, yeah. I think for myself, I'm more competitive with against myself and my own ability. I want to do my best versus, except that, like I mentioned, that the tight regulars for only 4-bet aces. I really competitively want to stack their aces with a marginal hand. Yes,
yeah,
I can't disagree with that. Yeah. That was one
yeah.
of my favorite things I used to do, man. I used to love when the tight guy from Estonia would 4-bet
Opens under the
you.
gun.
And he would 4-bet you, and you're like, oh, yeah, let's go. Because you ain't never stacking this guy, right? I mean, the guy's got middle set without a redraw. He's not putting it on our big blinds. Like, he's just not. He's a tight player. So when you knew, like, if I hit this board, I'm going to get it in super good against this fucking nit who's got the low 4-bet percentage, it was not much better feelings in the world, Phil. It really wasn't, man.
Yeah.
Mark Robinson said the problem I see with UFC is viewer fatigue. Too many weekends now of a UFC event. And I think I understand why they do it like that, Mark. And but they differentiate their events, which is something that they do really well. So they add more, they ramp up their effort to draw attention to certain events a lot more than they're going to do versus other events. So that's
Do
something.
you think we're gonna see fatigue with the Galfond challenge? I mean, I'm playing 5 days a week, hopefully for 4 months.
Well, I think it all depends on the marketing around it, right? How the content, if it's just every day and you're a viewer, right, and you watch it and you say, okay, like, you know, Phil posted a hand. Okay, I see a hand. Maybe so, right? But I think if there's multiple ways that the because this is what it is, right? So content takes place, right? So you guys play the challenge. Now we have this piece of content. All right, what can we do with it, right? We can talk to the players. We can go over the hands. We can joke about the hands. We can go over it in depth. We can show the result. There's all these different presentation ways and ways you can package the content down to make it digestible, consumable, whatever for the audience that's going to watch it out there. So I think that's what it comes down to, right? It comes down to the excitement the community shares, if other people are talking about it, if people are watching it. So I don't think so, no. I think that, no, I don't think so. I think that there'll be enough ways to keep people kind of engaged, exciting, and I don't know. I suppose if we see some good matches, if we see some blowouts, I'm sure people won't be interested, but.
Yeah. I think the blowouts, like we talked about earlier, I think might result in, shorter matches. So it'll stay fresh. I think that like if me and Vini Vidi start and one of us is up, like one of us is just like clearly outmatched, I think the other one is probably going to quit. And the problem for me is that like I've still got the rest of the matches. So like for Vini Vidi, like he and I both don't know. We don't know who's going to have the edge. And we're going to find out, or maybe we won't find out, but it's possible that one of us finds out we just are crushed, right? And then we can just quit. But then I still have to play Jungle Man. I still have to play Action Freak. And like, even though I know that, like if I get crushed by Veni, I'm probably going to get crushed by them too.
I mean, you can always get better as well.
True, I have time. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you can work at your game a number of different ways to improve your chances to win. Yeah. So I'm excited for the Jungle Man streaming. I feel like.
Me too.
I feel like for Jungle Man streaming, we need like a stipulation. There has to be at least one girl there.
Okay, I'll talk to him. Yeah, we have to get him playing on Run It Once because like that's going to be the most watched stream of all of them. We got to get him on the getting eyes on Run It Once. So I'll if he doesn't have an assistant, I'll hire him an assistant to just set up his account and get it all going.
Kenny Powder says, does Phil know how insanely good Action Freak really is?
I think he's my toughest challenge that I've got. So if that's
right. Anytime you're competing against guys who've been playing the game every single day for the past 5 to 10 years, it's going to be tough. And I think Action Freak is certainly one of those guys that falls in that. He's been working hard at his game. He's put in so much time and hours in terms of grinding up to get better and to become one of the top players. So yeah, I mean,
that's the match I'm most concerned about for sure.
Yeah. Well, people say Isildur. What about Isildur? Can we get Isildur in the mix?
I would love to. I mean, that would be the most watched challenge. Well, maybe besides Jungle, but I asked him a month ago or so. He wasn't up for it.
What about site owner versus site worker? You versus Rob Young. Maybe we do loser shuts their site down or something like that.
Well, Rob Young reached out on Twitter about challenge. You saw that, yeah?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So I mean, we haven't worked out details, but I mean, we have a tentative challenge and planned. Maybe like loser gives the other one their site would be good.
Explain more. How would that work?
Well, I mean, if I lose, then Rob owns Run It Once, and if Rob loses, then I'd get Party Poker.
I think you might have to talk to GVC. Rob said he's not the owner.
Yeah, but I mean,
you think that he should have to talk with GVC in order to work that out?
Yeah, I lay some odds or something.
I think it's a great idea, though. Yeah, I feel like I mean, obviously, we can agree Party's market share a little bigger right now in terms of maybe the action, how much money they're making, but at the same time, I think that's what it takes.
Rob wants to play No Limit. I don't play No Limit.
Yeah.
So that's why it's fair.
Wait a goddamn minute. Rob he doesn't want to play PLO. The man loves Pop in Omaha.
He wants to play No Limit. He wants to play 500 big blind deep, 500 1K, No Limit.
What? Okay, I guess that makes sense.
He wants to put me to the test.
Jeez. Okay. Well, maybe we'll see that happen. I mean, do you even play No Limit anymore? Like, I'm sure you're still respectable at the game, but
I'm sure I could figure it. I'll be fine. I'm not going to be terrible. I would not take on, who's the action freak of No Limit? I don't know, but whoever that is,
Linus Love. I don't know who's the
yeah,
top.
well,
Linus Love.
yeah, well, I certainly wouldn't take on Linus Love, No Limit Hold'em, but I'm sure I could play
Yeah, I
not
like
terribly.
heads up for businesses. I like this. Listen, I'm gonna put the clip up there for Rob. I'm gonna say, Rob, we got it.
Yeah,
Phil Galfond has challenged you. He has challenged you to heads up sites. All right,
yeah,
work your magic, Rob. I think Rob might be able to do that.
yeah,
I think so. I think you can do that. Let's get some questions from the chat. I see a lot of people out there. Let me
yeah.
get some
So
shout outs to all my mamacitas and my papitos out there in the chat. We got my boy Landon Tice. What's up, Landon Poppy? Eden Rocks out there in the chat. Eden, a moderator from the legendary Mike Postle investigation series,
oh yeah,
which I'm pretty sure we're going to be winning a media content GPI poker award for those investigations right there. And I looked up journalists. They nominated. I'm on the semifinals for journalists, and then I looked up what a journalist does, and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely a journalist because a journalist
yeah,
talks about what happens in the community that they're in, the world that they're in, and I try to talk about all the big things that happen in the poker world. So I was like, I guess I'm a journalist. That makes sense. So
you are.
yeah. Journalist, my man of all talent. Zeminski Binks out there. What's up, Poppy? Jimmy Baker, Clinton Richardson. Who else we got? Lloyd Kerwick, Ricky Bung. What's up, Ricky Bung? What's happening, man? What's happening? Andreas says, has Run It Once seen a winning day? What does that mean? Does that mean have you made money, or what does that mean?
I guess that means have we made money on a given day? No, no.
No. Well, do you spend a lot of money each day?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, if you were to technically look at, we don't pay everybody's salary daily, so technically we've probably had a winning day, but or technically we've had multiple winning days, but no, if you spread our monthly costs,
Maybe we cut. You think we fire Nick? We may have a winning day.
yeah, that might
Yeah.
that might make the difference. I'm gonna talk to Nick now.
You think we need to get rid of this guy? I mean, he's in the chat right now. I mean, we just let him. When you want to drop him off slowly or what?
Nick, no, Nick's good.
How would you fire?
We can keep
Pretend you're gonna fire me. Go ahead. Let's say I work for Run It Once Poker. I've been doing a bad job, right? So I've been on the graphics. I fucked up a few times, right? Like a pivotal graphic went out untested, and you got to have that talk with me, and you got to let me go from Run It Once Poker. How would you do it? You can't hire, you can't outsource it, you can't bring anyone else on. You're gonna fire me from Run It Once Poker. Go ahead. I walk in. What's up? What's up, boss? How's it going?
I mean, this is this. Do we have to do this? It's kind of traumatic.
You want me to fire you?
You can fire me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll walk. It's more fun when you. I know that you don't want to fire people. You don't even want to fake fire me. That's what I'm saying. Imagine
I
having to. You probably have someone else do it, don't you?
I mean, well, it depends, right? If it depends who somebody's reporting to.
That's true.
I don't think. Look, you can fire me.
I
Let's
like. You
move
know,
on.
who I think be good at firing people. Farrah. I think Farrah would be like a.
Yeah, she'd be.
She'd be like, you're gone.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. You're gone. Oh man, I know Farrah's excited, man. Farrah's excited for the challenge to start place. Your mom. I don't think your mom quite understood the challenge, to be honest with you. But I try explaining to her a little bit. I go, mano y mano. Player versus player, get in the cage. Who wins more money? That's it. That's the challenge. It ain't that hard to understand, right? Who's up more? Who's down more? It kind of is what it is. So I'm pumped up, man. Who else we got in the chat here? Craig, 583. We got a lot of guys out there. Stack me. We got a lot of holdovers from the Mike Postle Investigation Chronicles. And I apologize I did leave you guys for so long. 3 months, kind of a long time. But you got to understand, I watched that guy for hours every day, and I was starting to lose my mind a little bit because I'm 24 hours a day, or not that long, right? 10 hours a day. I'm putting into this. I'm watching streams. I'm going over hands. I'm going over all these crazy moments, and it definitely got to me a little bit. So I had to take some time off. So, but I'm happy to be back. Matthew Bates says Rob can put Dusk Till Dawn up in the Business First Business Challenge.
Oh, that's true. I don't really want to run Dust Till Dawn. I don't know the first thing about.
Yeah.
But sure, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You'd accept? You're okay with it?
Probably.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to give up Run It Once Poker.
Yeah.
No, I'm not okay with it.
Okay. I'm still.
I want to be running. I want to be at least, risking a poker site for a poker site.
Okay. I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
Shout out Jack Fleming. Trit, where's some fight video breakdown? I haven't broken down a fight in a while. As you can tell, the enthusiasm's on our level right now. So I'm ready to break down a fight, but I just need to find a fight. Phil, do you have a fight to recommend?
I don't.
No fight? You haven't watched? Not a big fight video guy?
I'm not. No.
No. Okay. That's okay. Too Fat Matt says, is the family there with you?
Yeah, they're here. I don't know if you. I mean, I have heard a lot of baby noises during the podcast. I don't know if my mic picked them up, but they're here.
I really enjoy your video updates on Instagram at phil.galfond. I really enjoy you posting you and your child. It's really cute. I mean, I feel like I feel like I've dealt with too many. I feel like I've dealt with too many strange motherfuckers on the internet to really want to post my personal life. A lot of times, I really don't post much about what I'm doing or where I'm at or stuff like that because
Yeah, I understand.
but yeah, I mean, I really enjoy it though because I think it's cute. I love it. It's awesome. And
Thank you. He's a lot of fun. He's
do you like what do you guys do? Do you throw him around and stuff, or are you like teaching
Yeah,
him
I'd throw him
games?
around. He's you know, play with stuff, read books. He likes to look outside. Now that because now in Vancouver we're in, like a apartment and we can look outside and see the street. He loves looking at cars and trucks and different things. Um, yeah, that's about
Seeing
it.
it. Do you think that
Good
we'll be able to
visuals.
get him into poker at all, anything like that?
He's super sharp. So I think that I think we could. Yeah,
You think so? Do you feel like this might be our guy?
I think so. Yeah.
This might be our American hope.
I really do. I think, but I mean, we'll see what he's interested in. I'm not going to force it on him, of course, but he'll be exposed to it, right? He's got me and Farah
Hmm.
around.
That's true. Having you around teaching him. I mean, listen, you've been sharpening your tools, right?
Yeah,
Teaching in the. I mean, you've been teaching pretty consistently for about over 10 years, right?
yeah,
Like
I think so.
consistently putting up training content. I feel like for as long as maybe I can remember in poker. So maybe
Yeah,
10, 11 plus years.
yeah, and like a lot of it. Yeah,
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I mean,
it is.
I just I feel like the making those videos as well has to do so much for just your own understanding because one, if you say something wrong, believe me, they're gonna be the first to correct you in the comments, right?
Oh
They're gonna
yeah,
be like,
yeah.
no, and Phil, hey, you really three
No,
bet
plug
that
this
hand. I mean,
in.
come
Yeah,
on, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and it's like, all right, calm down. It's one fucking play. But so I understand, like, and I know you hold yourself to the high standard when you're doing this stuff. So you've like this is the best way to learn. I feel like the best way to learn is honestly put your thought process out there. And if it's wrong, they're gonna
it
let you
helps a
know it's
lot.
wrong, right?
Yeah,
People are gonna tell you that it's wrong. So the best way to get better at something is to really just explain what the hell you're thinking about it and let the let what happens from there. And I feel like that's what you've sort of put your feet to the fire like that, and that's got to have helped in terms of just your own understanding of the game, but also your ability to teach and coach and to understand information when it comes to a number of different things.
yeah. I think it's been. I mean, I don't know how much has been, people asking me questions. It's definitely been part of it. A lot of it I know is just I review I'm watching a video of myself playing and I'm seeing mistakes that I'm making and I'm thinking about spots for longer. Like if you just play and never review hands, because I don't go in Hold'em Manager and review hands, this is actually the way that I kind of review my play and give it more time and more thought, figure things out. So I definitely think it helps me. I think that I mean, I still enjoy it a lot. I think I've done a lot of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I do still enjoy it, and I do still think that I think that I have like the way that I think about things is in a how do I say this? Like a lot of strong players can only explain things in very technical ways, and I think about things in kind of plain English, and so for that reason, I think I've always been able to teach people pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
even some advanced things, because just my thought process translates like is understandable.
Yeah, I think that you do a excellent job of making things understandable for players of any skill level. Which what I'm learning about when it comes to teaching and explaining, that's a very important thing. And I think that's something that
Mhm.
people find attractive is that no matter where you're at, whether you know a little bit, you don't know anything, or you even know a lot, you can still take away something from the best teachers. And I think that's a great way to kind of put it. That's something that I think you do well. Yeah,
Cool. Thank you.
definitely. I think you just gave me an idea actually for something that I'm not gonna. I mean,
All right.
I'll say it off the once we get done. But it's a way. It's a
Top secret.
not really, but it's just whatever. It is just
Yeah.
it's just a fucking idea I have here. So yeah, Phil starts up tomorrow. What time is the stream going tomorrow?
It's 8 a.m. Pacific.
What?
Yeah, we're playing 8 a.m. to noon Pacific. So, you know, he's in Europe somewhere,
I know,
and
8 a.m. I'm fuck 8 a.m. Jesus Christ. 8 a.m. What are you 35 years old? Oh
I
wait.
am 35
Nah, I
years
know.
old.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
Phyllis had a birthday, guys, by the way, a couple days ago, 35 years old. Uh 8 a.m. makes sense, right? Can you imagine being
It does.
22 8 a.m.? What do you
No,
think? No?
honestly,
Yeah.
I can't imagine being 33. It wasn't until we had Spencer that I started waking up early. I was still like, you know, 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
But it changes your schedule
That's
having a
true.
baby. Yeah.
More TBC says, Poppy, when are you coming into the RIOP Discord to hype up the crowds? I don't use Discord, but I'll go in the group. I don't know. I got it. Maybe I'll start using it. I don't really know. I'll start using it. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'll join the thing. So I feel like we've got a lot of the questions here. Let me go through some of my other questions here. Phil? One piece of poker advice for the people. I love this. It's one of my favorite questions. What do you think?
So this is advice I've given before, but I think it's the best,
Okay.
which is every time you make a play, um, or your opponent makes a play, there's a reason why. And your job is for yourself to have a reason why you're making your play, to think of it. And even if it's a bad reason, that's better than, well, I flop top pair, so I bet. Right? Think of what you're trying to accomplish with your bet. And just the act of thinking about reasons, even if you don't know the right reason, is going to lead you towards thinking about the game critically. And by the same token, every player you play against, whether they know it or not, has a reason for every play they make. And so it's kind of it's lazy to say like, oh, this guy is a fish. He's just like doing random stuff and just leave it at that. No, he's betting his hand for some reason. Maybe he's afraid of like the flush draw that's out there and he's trying to protect his whatever his reason is. Doesn't have to be a good one. Your job is to figure out, through their showdowns and the way that they play, your job is to try to guess what those reasons are, and it'll lead you to be able to read their hand better in the future. So it's just always why is the concept, is why is everybody doing what they're doing.
Dare I say? G T O,
Was
bam!
I
I
supposed
love
to
it.
say T?
Boom,
Okay.
motherfucker! That's what we come here for with the podcast, man. Good to be back, Phil. Thank you, man. Hey, listen, I gotta say,
You made it just in time, man. Thank you.
I guess it's really yours and Doug's fault, really, because I without you or Doug encouraging me to kind of get back in the mix, I probably would have kept the studying up and
Yeah.
I'm pretty much studying most of the day. I'm reading a lot. I'm watching a lot of really good content out there. I'm just working on ideas, formulating in my mind, figure out what I'll do with my life next. So
It was
it's
a
but
stressful
I
few months. I'm just like, I'm challenging the world high stakes PLO, and Joey's not back.
I know,
Joey's still
yeah.
not back. Oh, now we're challenging Poker Stars. Joey's still not back.
We're back in the mix, man. So I'm fucking
All
fired up.
right.
If you guys are enjoying the pod, if you're ready for it, make sure you smash the like button if you're watching. I forgot that's what the YouTube GTO is. My boy Craig 5835 from New Zealand, $20 donation. Thanks for all the efforts you put into for the world poker community. I'm sure someone hires you as a spokesman soon. Craig, this is going to surprise you. Most sites have tried to hire me as some sort of spokesman before, but I've usually stayed kind of on my own for probably dumb reasons. But maybe one day we'll get kind of involved with things like that. Phil, you got two podcast guest
Yeah.
recommendations, man. What do you think? You got a recommendation, someone you'd like to see me have on the podcast here?
Well, you already said it, but Richard Grieco, I think, will be an excellent pod for you.
Agree.
Um, okay, let me think. Would be good. Man, no, I guess I'll just go with Chance.
Chance? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
get
definitely
Chance.
have Chance on before that challenge starts.
Yeah,
That's for sure. Landon said we need a yearly Garrett Adelstein stream. So we get Garrett on
yeah,
in
Garrett's the man.
every April. So April this year, me and Garrett is going to make that happen. We talked about it last year. Like, we're trying to do it once a year, every single time, same month every year. And Vini Vidi, I do want to try to get Vini Vidi on too. So I'm going to try to get in touch with him. I want to learn more about Vini Vidi as well. I'd love to talk with him. I'd love to learn more about his story. And yeah, especially for the challenge here coming up. So yeah, guys, I think that's Do we want to do the dance off?
The dance off.
Dance off. Yeah.
Let's save it.
You want to save the dance off for the next
Yeah.
one? Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
let's do the dance with the wrap off. You want to say the wrap off too?
Let's do the wrap off air after we.
You want to do the wrap off air?
Yeah.
I've been freestyling a lot. I'm ready.
Have you?
I'm
That's what you've been spending the last 4 months on.
I've been doing a lot of things, man. Dancing, rapping. I learned how to sing too.
Nice.
I'm too embarrassed to. I learned breathing.
Yeah.
How to breathe. You breathe from your.
Can you like improve your singing significantly?
100%, yes.
Wow.
Because once you understand how to speak and you understand where you use your breathing from. So like right now I'm talking a lot from my throat, but if you go down here, you can kind of talk from your the bottom of your chest, or you can talk from the upper part of your chest, or you can talk from like up here. So it's when I learned the I don't know what, maybe these are like new, these are probably like standard things to professional speakers or whatever, but when I started learning more about speaking, it taught you some of those things. So yeah.
Very cool.
I know. We'll see. Did we talk
All right,
about
we'll sing off air.
Did we talk about that acid challenge? Was that a different video? We talking about that? Me and you gonna play heads up on acid? Was that something else?
Oh yeah, where was that? I
don't even know.
Oh, that was when you interviewed me, I think, for your video tomorrow.
Are we gonna? Do you still want to do that?
No, I have no shot, I think.
Wow.
Okay. We can drink if you want. I don't drink I drink like twice a month, but it'll make it fair, right?
I don't know. You've been. I don't think so, because you now. It wouldn't have been fair before, right? But now you're going to be playing a lot of heads up. You're going to be like in the fucking zone. I'm so excited, bro. I'm excited for you to crush your brother. All right. I don't care what happens. Phil Galfond's still one of the top Potlon players to me of all time in the entire world. I don't care if he loses every challenge. If he wins every challenge, I'm just calling him the best. And no one's going to be able to argue with me. So that's where I'm standing, guys. Guys, that's what I got. Hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to my boy Wayne Chang out there in the show, in the comments out there. Hola, cola, mosa, papi. Rastelin M, Sid, Fireman, Scott Deloney. Yo, I might have said your last name wrong, Scott, and I do apologize. Make sure you guys check out my man, Fireman Scott. He posts a lot of Potman Omaha vlogs down in Houston as well, too. Make sure you guys give that a shout out. He proclaims himself to be the best Potman Omaha player in the world. And Scott, if you're ready, my man Phil Galfond's ready to play you.
Yeah.
Step up to the plate, buddy. Come on, man.
Let's do it.
Well, oh, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. That's all I got, guys. Much love. I'll be back. Tomorrow with a new video, and then once this challenge gets started, I'm gonna put together a content plan. I'm thinking maybe if the interesting hands come up, maybe it might be on a solo hand. It might be on a compilation of the hands. It might be me bringing Phil on the show and maybe going over one or two of the main hands that go down. But I will definitely be keeping people updated on the challenge, on what's happening with that as well too. I'm on Team Galfond around here.
Thanks, Joey.
And even though
I'm on Team. If you're playing a challenge, I'm on Team Joey.
Thank you. Well, I don't. I kind of want to challenge myself at something, but then again, you are against my man Bill Perkins, and that's my guy. He's helped me out so much in my life. So, and that one, I'll be rooting for Phil Galfond. He issued the challenge. I'll be rooting for that. So we'll see, guys in the chat. That's it. That's what we got. Much love. Enjoy. Take care. Peace out. Adios. Something. Bye.
Yes.